Welcome to this edition of Chelmsford High School's Lions Pride. I'm Steve Murray, principal of Chelmsford High School. Each month we celebrate 2 seniors from each house. We recognize these students for their academic success as well as their countless activities and programs that these students participate in that make Chelmsford High School one of the best high schools in the state. This recognition and show would not be possible without the generosity and support of the Chelmsford Rotary Club. They have sponsored this program for over 30 years. So without further ado, let's meet our deans and our students of the month. For our first student of the month, we go to Emerson House, and I'll turn it over to Dean MacNeil.
Our first student of the month for the month of April is Gunda. Sia, we are so proud of you. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
My first question from you is, one of the biggest things that sticks out is the amount of work you and your team did for the leadership conference this year. Can you just give us a brief synopsis of what that entailed for you?
Yeah, it was such a great experience. It was really rewarding. Every board member did a lot, and every time we would tell someone to do something, they would always do beyond what we would tell them. So because of everyone's hard work, we were able to pull this huge leadership conference together. And we also learned so much about communication, talking to adults, technology. Like, I met so many different workers and people, alumni, because of this leadership conference. So it was really successful, and I would definitely hope they continue it next year. So it was really great.
What was the one thing you took away from it? I know you got to watch some of the presenters.
Yes, definitely confidence, communication, time management, because a lot of the presenters, we had to keep talking to them and making sure like we would get their profile, their bio, making sure they'd come on time, the schedule, and making sure everyone was like knew what they were doing. We had to make sure volunteers had everything set up the day of. Like, no one knew where to go at the beginning, and it was all very smooth because the board members all made sure they were there on time. They made sure they knew what they were doing. Like, everyone put their 100% into this leadership conference, and it turned out great. So definitely communication, being confident when talking to adults, because we needed to make sure we knew what we were doing, because we did have remote speakers, so we had to make sure the hybrid setting would work out. So the technology, Zoom meeting, all of that, we had to make sure we were 100% aware of.
Thank you.
Amazing. Speaking of leadership, you're also the president of the Lead Like a Girl.
Yes.
Could you explain what that club is?
Yeah, so basically we host workshops annually every year. This past few years we had to do it remote, but this year we did it for the first time in person in the Career Center, and we invite children from all the Chelmsford public school systems to come to our workshop, and we host arts and crafts, talk to them about leadership. We do scenarios and teach them about how to be themselves and empowering individuals, because a lot of people are shy and they're scared to speak up for themselves. So we give them scenarios that they could be in when they're older and how to act in them. And a lot of them started laughing because we would make jokes and things like that. So they all enjoyed it a lot, and a lot of the parents are like, oh, I wish we'd do this every year. So they're definitely going to come back next year.
That's awesome.
What are your plans for next year?
I committed to UMass Amherst as part of the Honors College, and I'm majoring in marketing. So I'm planning on joining a lot of their clubs. One club that stuck out to me during the Admitted Students Day tour was their ad agency club. And they basically work on campaigns for different companies, and they have this exhibition at the end of the year, so different companies will see if they like your campaigning strategies. So I'm really interested in doing that type of thing, and I think Yearbook got me more interested in that stuff, because for Yearbook we had to do a lot of advertisements, and this year there was Lions Roar, Lions Live, there's so many different ways to advertise, and I kind of enjoyed that, so I'm going to do more in that next year.
And you're going into marketing. That's
Yes.
your plan, right? And you're working on you took the internship this year.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about that experience?
Yes. So I honestly started to like marketing more because of the interning experience. I'm interning at this company called Measured, and I'm working part-time kind of right now. And basically what I do is I help with data outreach. So I find emails of different companies' marketing officers, like the CMOs and things like that, and I put it all on a spreadsheet. And I'm learning all about communicating with different employers and how marketers actually reach out to other companies and spread the word. So I'm learning all about that.
That's great. Well, that's all the time we have. Well, on behalf of the Chelmsford Rotary Club and the administration at Chelmsford High School, I want to say congratulations on being April Student of the Month.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Welcome. And our second student of the month can't be here, unfortunately, but I'll turn over to Dean MacNeil to introduce that student.
Our second student of the month for April is Rahil Patel. Rahil, we are so glad that he is part of Emerson House, but unfortunately he couldn't join us today. So a little bit about Rahil. Rahil is currently enrolled in AP Biology, a Senior Odyssey, AP Calculus AB, Anatomy and Physiology, Reality Check Forensic Science, and Intro to Criminal Justice. He is part of the National Honor Society, and he's even received the Chelmsford High Highest Academic Achievement Award 4 years in a row. He is an AP Scholar with honors, and he's been awarded second place for the Kendall M. Wallace Greater Lowell Regional Knowledgeship Bowl. That's a lot. He has also been the first Robotics Chairman Award recipient for both his freshman and sophomore year. So Rahil is a wonderful student. When he's not working on his academics, he participates in the Give Club. He also is part of the first robotics team, the MIT High School Student Studies Program, and he's a peer tutor. Outside the classroom, Rahil is a swimmer. He has been a member of the CHS boys swim team, swim and dive team for 4 years, and he was given the Executive Swim Team Most Improved Swimmer Award his sophomore and junior year. He also finds time to give back to his community. I don't know how he does it, but he's also a volunteer at the Chelmsford Public Library, where he's a shelf reader. He works at the ISSO Temple. He volunteers at both Lowell General and Boston Children's Hospital. And he works, and he helps his parents with their family business. He enjoys spending time outside. He hikes, he bikes, he scuba dives. And next year, Rahil has also committed to University of Massachusetts Amherst, where he plans to attend this is a tongue twister, in biochemistry and molecular biology with a minor in economics. He hopes one day to be either a data analyst for the medical field or a doctor. So we're sad that Rahil couldn't be here with us, but we are so proud of him, and we're glad that he's our second April Student of the Month.
On behalf of the Chelmsford Rotary and the rest of the CHS administration, congratulations, Rahil. This brings us to Hawthorne House. Well, Dean Blagg will introduce the next Students of the Month.
Thanks, Principal Murray. I'm really excited to introduce Lily Daigle as one of our Students of the Month this month. Lily's a tremendous kid who's really gotten herself very, very involved in a few activities, and not only been involved, but led those activities. Sure. So she's really made a big impact on our school. She's an excellent student first and foremost. She's taken a very difficult course load, taking some AP Government and AP French and AP Literature, some nutrition, some calculus, and some chorus or choir. So those are some of her academics, which she's an outstanding student, but she's also heavily involved in our extracurriculars. She's the co-president of our award-winning a cappella group, the Crescendos. She's the president of our poetry club. She is the business editor and head photographer for the yearbook. She's a student freshman mentor. She's on the staff of The Voice. So everything she touches, she not only is involved, but she leads. Yeah. In her spare time, she has her own company, Pictures of Lily. She takes portraits, and is just a very talented photographer herself, and an entrepreneur as well. She's heading to Simmons University next year, and she's going to study film and business marketing. So congratulations, Lily.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations.
Thank you for having me.
I feel that COVID has robbed us of the Crescendos the last couple of years. And can you explain what the Crescendos have been doing this year and what you've been up to? It's a phenomenal group.
Thank you so much. So last year in 2020 to 2021, we were doing a lot of virtual choirs, and I was editing some music videos for us, which was definitely a different experience, and definitely a different experience for everyone, because some people really like that format. For me, I really like that format because I'm interested in editing and trying out different formats for music. Some people didn't like it as much, but I do think it was definitely a learning experience for all of us. And we definitely couldn't have done it without Miss Rader, who's our director. She mixed a lot of the audio for us, which was awesome. And coming into this year, we got back into a fully in-person format, so we got to do 2 in-person competitions this year. We participated in the Any Voices Festival, which was held here, which was awesome. And then we also, every year we participate in the International Championship of High School A Cappella. So both groups, the Thursdays and the Crescendos, my group, we advanced to the semifinals this year, which was in Worcester, which was awesome. So I'm very grateful that we were able to do a fully in-person format this year. And yeah, I'm really proud of the group. I'm really grateful for Miss Rader and my other co-president, Sachi. So yeah.
Great.
One of your passions certainly is photography. Not only your the head photographer for our yearbook, but you also have a business that you've kind of parlayed. And it sounds like that'll be part of your life going forward.
Mm-hmm.
What is it about photography that caught your eye, and how has it changed how you kind of view the world?
Mm-hmm. With photography, I think it's really important to capture everyone in a way how they see themselves. You can capture them in a deeper way, in a way where they feel like truly themselves, either whether that means putting them in a place, in a setting that makes them feel like themselves, having them feel more comfortable with other people in the portraits. So definitely, for photography, it's not just about the picture itself, it's about what's happening while you're taking the photo. And when I look at a lot of the photos that I've taken, and also some of my friends' photos, just you can remember the moment that it was taken, and it's really special to know that you made that happen. You're not just clicking a button.
Nice.
What are your plans next year?
So I'll be attending Simmons University to study film and marketing. I hope to do something with the two of them together, whether that be some sort of advertising or wherever the wind takes me.
You don't have to know that, right?
Yeah.
Right, you get plenty of time.
But film, that's a different medium than photography.
Mm-hmm.
So why film? And have you had any experience? It sounds like you had a little bit with the crescendos, right? Did that touch off?
Yeah.
Or have you had any other experience with film?
I haven't had too much experience with it, and I also haven't had that much experience with watching it. I'm not necessarily an aficionado of film or movies, but definitely the production of it in making all the Crescendos videos a couple years ago definitely got me interested in film production. But yeah, definitely once I get to college, I'll be more involved in the whole world of it and watching them and making them more.
Nice.
Well, was there any one class that stands out here that you said, I wish other kids would take this class too?
My junior year, I took AP Lang with Mr. Shea, and I thought that was a really great class. I thought that he made it super engaging, even though we were all virtual and I was holed up in my room all day. But I really appreciated how engaging he made it. In that class, we don't read works of fiction. We read all nonfiction, and somehow we relate it to our own lives. Yeah.
That's great. Well, that's all the time we have. On behalf of the Chelmsford Rotary Club, who sponsors this, and the administration at Chelmsford High School, I want to say congratulations on being April Student of the Month.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Congratulations. Well done.
Thank you.
This brings us to the second Student of the Month from Hawthorne House. I'll turn it over to Dean Blagg.
Thanks, Principal Murray. I'm really excited to announce Nicholas LaCava as one of our Students of the Month. Nicholas is an outstanding student who's also heavily involved in our co-curricular activities and really made the most of his experience here at Chelmsford High School. First and foremost, Nicholas is an excellent student. It's a very, very rigorous course load. He's taken AP Music Theory, which he has a big test this week, pre-calculus honors, physics honors, modern world literature, honors band, and nutrition. So those are some of the things that he's taken this year, and he's really done tremendously well. On top of all that, he's heavily involved in our music program. He comes from a musical family, and he certainly
Very much so, yes.
Very much does a great job with it. He's part of our Tri-M Honor Societies and the CHS Jazz Band. He's in the Pit Orchestra, the All-Town Wind Ensemble. He's performed at both Carnegie Hall and Fenway Park, earning some of the highest marks in some of the Northeast districts. So he's quite an accomplished musician. On top of all that, he's part of Lime and the Freshman Mentor Program and the Melting Pot Club. Just a few things. And one of the things that he's helped bring about this year has been part of our senior capstone experience. He's doing a 6-week internship down at the McCarthy Middle School with Mr. Wright, the band director down there, and he's done great things down there. So just a tremendous kid heading off to UMass Amherst in the fall, which is an awesome school. He wants to doing music education and performance as a focus of study. So congratulations, Nicholas.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
Congratulations. So I want to hear more about the capstone that Dean Blagg was talking about. What is it and how's it going?
So essentially, a little overview of it. It's a 6-week program I essentially get to choose a site and a site advisor that helps me out. And I chose Mr. Wright in McCarthy Middle School, and it's right across the street, which is really nice. It's really convenient to just bounce back and forth between this school and there. And essentially, I just get to help out the percussionists there and kind of see them grow throughout the year and help them specifically prepare for their spring concert, which is coming up next week. And it's really interesting because I get to see Mr. Wright's tactics of teaching and like really live in that environment of not only the teaching environment, but also like post-teaching and like what his thoughts are on each of the classes and how he's going to approach different kids.
That's great.
Yeah, you're seeing the other side of the curtain.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you probably have more respect for teachers.
Very
now
much
that
so.
You try to take some of it on. You've been involved in so many performance groups throughout school, but you're also taking music theory. How has that course informed not only your kind of perspective on music, but on your playing?
It's been really interesting because I've been doing percussion for 9 years, and obviously everyone's like, oh, you just hit things. But then this is really, really like shining a new light on the other side of music as far as like the actual musicality of everything goes and how it's not just hitting things, it's the way you hit it, and also getting into more of the melodic stuff. It's really interesting because I've never had a chance to do that. And there's some really complicated techniques and everything that I've never even thought would have existed in the first place.
Yeah.
You're involved in so much music, and you still find time for clubs such as Leaders and Motion Everywhere. So why don't you give a nice plug for Lime, because you have an event coming up.
Absolutely, yes. We have our 24-hour relay event coming up May 20th to 21st, 9 to 9. And our whole club, essentially, we put on plenty of community service events, including we used to do Hunt for a Cause. This year we did a drive-through trick-or-treat to accommodate for everyone. 24-hour relay, obviously. We put on In Tune earlier in the year. And it's a really great experience for a lot of kids to get that leadership opportunity that they've been looking for. And it's a great opportunity for me to lead in a leadership group and really see what that overall outlook is on everyone.
So you've had a lot of tremendous teachers and advisors and you name it here at Chelmsford. Is there a person in the building or in the community that has really inspired you and made a deep impact on you?
I'd say I mean, I spent the most time with Mr. Sexauer, I'd say, so that's a pretty easy choice. He's really helped me through not only my journey musically, but also he's given me like plenty of opportunities outside of school, not only within the band program, and like referred me to different honors programs and bands and whatnot, and gotten me connected with different composers and different artists, such as like we just had the jazz showcase last Wednesday, and the guest artist was Ben Griffin, trombonist from UMass Amherst, who he knew. So we had a little connection there. And then it's, the music world is such a small world. It's so amazing for him to, expose me to that.
Yeah, great.
Believe it or not, that's all the time we have.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, on behalf of the Chelmsford Rotary, who sponsors this, and the administration here at Chelmsford High School, we say congratulations on being one of April's Students of the Month.
Thank you.
Way to go.
And this brings us to Whittier, and I'll turn it over to Dean MacIsaac to introduce Whittier's Students of the Month.
Thank you, Principal Murray. Our first April Student of the Month is Mahamaya Pai. Maya is enrolled in AP Research, AP Environmental Science, AP Literature, AP U.S. Government, and Calculus. She's a member of the National Honor Society, and she achieved high honor roll here at CHS all 4 terms. Maya was awarded a program at MIT where she worked on, it's a very selective program, worked with philosophical principles in those studies we'll hopefully hear more about. She's a member of Student Council, class reps, mock trial in the Freshman Mentor program. She owns and operates her own jewelry company where she makes jewelry out of materials that would normally be recycled. Maya has also done a lot of community service work with Table of Plenty, Chelmsford Food Pantry, the NA Tree, or the Tree, I'm curious how that's pronounced that, and a local temple. Next year she'll be attending UMass Amherst in the Honors College, and she'll be majoring in microbiology and philosophy with intentions of attending law school. Maya, welcome. Tell us about this jewelry company that we kind of talked about out there before we came in, kind of what you do with it and how you make money with it.
So actually I started it when quarantine started. Before quarantine, sophomore year, I was almost known as like the crazy earring girl in my chemistry class. I used to take a bunch of like random things and like put them on earring hooks or just like make bracelets out of them. And once quarantine started and I started learning more about sustainability and as I take AP Environmental Science and my research project was on sustainability and all of that, I realized the necessity of using finite materials instead of mining for new materials, because it causes biodiversity loss and yada yada. But as I learned more about how we should use finite materials, I started making my own jewelry, like this. This I got from the center, but I've been experimenting with making spoon rings, and I made this out of like terracotta clay.
Very cool. You brought up your research project for AP Research. What was your project? What was it on? All those things.
So I did it on carbon footprint, and as I mentioned, quarantine, which was a big impact on me. But quarantine made me want to know more how I could minimize my carbon footprint with individual changes, like washing laundry on cold or recycling. And as I wanted to know an actual numerical impact, like pounds of carbon that could be decreased if I started implementing these changes. So I actually measured this, and I had 40 participant households in Chelmsford to do this experiment for a span of a week. And I measured the numerical change that happened when this experiment went on. The two experimental groups was recycling and washing your laundry on cold. And I found that you can actually make quite a significant change, specifically 10,000 pounds of change, if you just do these small behaviors.
So next year you're going to UMass Amherst, hoping to study microbiology and philosophy. How do those two come together? And then attending law school is a future goal. Like, put it all together for us into like one capsule.
Yes. So I realized I would actually really like to thank my parents for this. I was very much so a big philosophy person. I've loved philosophy since 8th grade. I have my own philosophy book club thing where I teach people philosophy and all of that. But I also wanted microbiology, mostly because my parents wanted something with STEM, but I'm really passionate about microbiology and the whole gut microbiome and just how specific it is compared to biology, which is just a lot of stuff. And so I would like to do gut microbiomal research over the summer, and combining that, I'd like to work for some sort of medical malpractice firm or for one of the biotech companies as their lawyer, and that's my goal at UMass.
Very good.
If you were to recommend any class to an incoming freshman next year, what class would you recommend and why?
I would definitely recommend, even if you have like a little bit of research capacity, AP Research. I feel like I have learned tremendous amounts of knowledge from there, especially because now I have the backing I've already spoken to UMass Amherst professors on doing research over the summer with their microbiology program, and they've accepted me mostly because I took AP Research. And I feel like I know the actual research process and all of that, and I would not have known that unless it was because of AP Research.
That's great. Well, that's all the time we have. So on behalf of the Chelmsford Rotary Club and CHS administration, we say congratulations on being one of April's Students of the Month.
Thank you so much.
Congrats, Fire.
And this brings us to the last student of the month of April, also in Whittier House.
Thank you, Mr. Murray. Our second student of the month is Griffin Hart. Griffin is currently enrolled in AP Environmental Science, AP U.S. Government Politics, Calculus, Sociology, and Studio Art. Griffin is a member of the National Honor Society and also has earned high honor roll status for all terms at CHS. He's a 4-year member of the CHS football program and the rugby programs, which we're going to hear a lot about. He was recognized as a first-team all-conference football player this fall, and he is the captain of the rugby team this spring. Griffin also participated in indoor track, and he's a freshman mentor. Outside of school, Griffin's very busy giving back to the community. He's worked at the local Summerfest program. He's done various town cleanups with sports teams and other groups. He's worked with the local Pub Water program, and he's encouraging the youth of Chelmsford to learn how to play rugby with the Learn to Play Rugby clinics run by Dr. Parks and the team. Next year, Griffin will be attending Stonehill College and majoring in sports management. He'll also be continuing his football career for the Skyhawks, who recently announced they're going to Division I in all sports. So welcome, Griff.
Thank you.
Griff, we're right in the thick of things here in the spring with the rugby season. So I guess tell Chelmsford that we have a rugby team, which I don't know if everyone knows, which is really unique because you may even know the number, but there's not a lot of schools in the state that have it. And kind of tell about your experience because it probably started when you were a freshman, when kind of now we are 4 years later.
It started when I was a freshman, and I had a great time freshman year, and sadly I missed sophomore year with COVID, but junior year and senior year have both been a great time.
Good. And you, this year, I think was the first win, right? Because the first year you were close a couple of games. But
no, we won. Yeah, this is our first year where we've had multiple wins.
Yes. Okay, so that's maybe we could get it, which is good, which hopefully means we'll make the playoff, right?
What got you interested in rugby?
Just kind of freshman year, a couple guys from the football team were saying they're going to do it, and I'm like, yeah, you know what, I'll try it. And then fell in love with it
Glad you did.
instantaneously. Yeah.
What have been like the highlights? I know Dr. Pox has done a good job of like bringing in other groups, your group going out to the community, whether it's involving the Chelmsford youth or other youth. Like what's been like the, outside of obviously competing and winning with your teammates, but like the highlight of the outside stuff?
Honestly, I'd say the big one is just team dinner, bonding as a team, going out somewhere, going to hang out with someone, just getting the team chemistry together.
Good. Football, you had a successful career this past year, named All-Conference Player. Kind of same thing where I feel like the program's taken a good turn, especially since you've been here. Kind of tell us about that experience, from freshman year through now senior year, where you're kind of moving on and continuing football, which clearly you're passionate about, and hopefully, while you're here, you're able to foster some of that passion here and grow.
So the big thing with football was just trying to stick with it throughout 4 years. We didn't do a whole lot of winning until my senior year, and then all of a sudden we're 8-3, and we're setting up a program for a great amount of success, hopefully in the future. And the senior year was also kind of the year where I thought, all right, this is something I really want to pursue and something I want to keep going.
Good. Stonehill, obviously sports management. What do you hope to focus on with the sports management? Just like a broad scope of it, or like a really specific area in sports management?
The big two things that I'd love to do are I'd love to be a broadcaster or I would love to be a scout.
Okay, which that's probably a good entry point for those things.
What would you like to do for broadcasting?
Broadcasting, primarily football. I love football.
Yeah. So, and when you go next year, you're involved in rugby, and you're teaching little kids. You're in a local summer fest. What do you see doing outside of football next year when you go to college? Besides studies. Yeah, exactly.
Probably just trying to make as many friends as possible.
That's good. See, I don't have any friends. That's good.
We're aware, Mr.
Yeah,
Black.
exactly.
What's your favorite class here at CHS? You do have some good ones this year, but was there a favorite class or favorite teacher you had this year, in prior years?
Honestly, I feel like the big one I have to say this year was sociology with Mr. O'Keefe.
Yeah.
Just because he opens your mind to such a bigger perspective on life.
Good. Have you been yelled at by Mr. O'Keefe yet this year?
Just once.
Good. See, but you learned, right?
Yep.
Just one and done. Good. And then as far as teachers, obviously Mr. O'Keefe, but like any teacher or staff member or coach that's been like really influential for you, or just like supportive along the way?
I feel like the big ones are Coach Peterson and Dr. Parks, just because they've been with me all 4 years. I've gotten to know them so well, and I know they're both huge fans of me, so it's just good to know I always have them in my corner.
Good.
If you were to see some 8th graders this summer, what would be something you recommend to them?
Rugby. Try rugby.
Good.
Give it a shot.
And how many people on the team this year? You have quite a few, right?
28, 29.
Yeah, which is good. And how many on the pitch or the field at one time?
15.
Okay, so you're good.
And how's the sports at Stonehill?
They're very good. They have a very good program, especially football. They have a great culture in the locker room.
That's great.
A bunch of great guys, a bunch of great coaches. And I'm very excited.
Good.
Well, you have a great future, and our time is up. So on behalf of the Chelmsford Rotary Club, on behalf of Dean MacIsaac and the rest of CHS administration, we say congratulations on being one of April's Students of the Month.
All right, thank you very much.
Congrats, Griff.
This concludes our latest edition of Lions Pride. I want to thank our deans for their thoughtful words and beautiful summaries of each recipient. I would also like to thank the Chelmsford Rotary Club for their unending support of this great program. Lastly, congratulations to all of this month's Students of the Month. On behalf of the Chelmsford Rotary and the deans, thank you for tuning in, and we look forward to seeing you next time.